Hello. Okay, I wanted to come and explain a little bit about what exactly you can use the things in this pack for. Um, like I've said before, this is what I use every day in my class. Every day I make a PowerPoint just to make sure I can hit all of the things that I want to hit without forgetting anything because let's be honest, we forget all kinds of things sometimes when we're teaching. So every PowerPoint will be labeled with the different days. This is day 1, order of operations. I paced out order of operations for 3 days. Of course, you can choose to do that one day or however much you choose. Every PowerPoint starts like this. It has the title, and this will all be editable for you, all text. I just keep this. My kids come in and they write their title and their table of contents for their interactive notebook. They write their date and then whatever designated page number we are on for that date, they put those as well, just to keep them very organized. After that, and like I said, so once you look at this PowerPoint, all the others are the same, just depending on the topic. As soon as we start this one, my district is real big on this student stating the purpose at least 3 times within the lesson, and you'll kind of see that as we go through the PowerPoint, but I always relate it back to something they already know how to do and what we're learning to do today. And after I explain what we're doing, then they have to turn and tell their neighbor the purpose for the lesson today. So that's the first time they're stating the purpose for the lesson. And then after that, I usually explain to them why we're learning this. What 5th grade standard does this relate to? What is the entire standard? What are we building towards? So I kind of explain the standard in their terms, and then I give it what it looks like. And down here is the standard for your Common Core. We're Louisiana State Standards, but this Louisiana State Standard happens to be the same if you're in Louisiana, but Common Core, it could pretty much stay the same. Then I connect it to real life, and I have like a little recipe because order of operations is like the recipe for, operations. This anchor chart is included in the pack, so you will print this out. I usually print this out for to put up on my bulletin board so they can relate to. And I, kind of relate how this is the recipe for following, but I also have one that's 4 to a page that is perfect to fit inside their notebook. Then we kind of start talking about that it's going to have all the 3 different grouping symbols. How sometimes an operation will have all the grouping symbols and you have to work from the inside out. And I kind of show them an example. Then we go into the first printable. And all these printables are found in that one document that says order of operations printables, ready to go. And what I did was I set a timer and I told them to cut these out and see if they could match them within the worksheet. And most of them they got a little bit confused with brackets and braces, of course, but they pretty much understood it, giving them that visual along with the definition instead of just writing definitions. And of course, up top, it has the standard, just in case, anybody comes in and observes. And every day I have a pose the problem, our big problem for the day. And this one talks about how they got 2 different answers, but none of them made a computation mistake. How could this happen? So I usually let my kids talk to their group and try to come up with an answer. This really gets them flowing, and I tell them everybody has to talk at least once. So then we actually go in and solve whatever our pose the problem is for that day. So if you've never written on PowerPoint, down here, there's a little pen button, and then you click pen, and you can write on your smartboard and solve the problem. And it works just like your smartboard. You can erase it, erase all ink on the slide, and so on. So then we'll solve the problem. Then I'll let them work with their small group, or I'll sometimes model one more for them. And again, this word evaluate is in our standard, so it's very important that they're kind of repeating that, understanding the standard. So they'll talk to their group, and I'll kind of feel it out whether they can start to move on by themselves, or if I need to model another one. Now, my guided practice, I do something very different for guided practice. I take 3 test questions and I post them throughout the room. So on my right side of my room, there will be 3 test questions. And on the left side of my room, there will be those same 3 test questions. I take my students who are even numbered, they go to one side of the room. My odd number students go to the other side of the room. I go through these expectations every day. Your questions 1 through 3 must be numbered in your notebook because we're going to go over them. They have to number them. If it's not multiple choice, they have to write a sentence because I'm trying to make them start thinking mathematically. They can only be talking about math. They have to pay attention to this 10-minute timer right here. And when you're finished, you have to return to your seat. If the timer sounds and you're not finished, you have to return to your seat quickly. I'm sorry. So we go over this expectation every single time. And then before we go to that, I ask them, what is our purpose for today? And they all state, evaluating an expression using the order of operations. So this is the second time they state the purpose. I start my 10-minute timer and they go. They can go to any question, whatever order they'd like to go to. They can only be talking about math. And I started this new thing this year. If I catch them not talking about math, I tap them on the shoulder and they have a seat. And I've only had to do that a couple of times. But this keeps them moving and engaged, and it makes going over these 3 test-like questions much quicker than just beating, a dead horse in 3, the same thing over and over and over again. They're actually answering more questions. So when the 10-minute timer is up, we go ahead and go back, and number 1, ready to go. So what I do is I print this slide and the next 2 slides twice. So like I said, I have 3 questions on the left side of the room, 3 questions on the right side of the room, and it's all the same questions. So that way I don't have, 10 kids at number 1, 10 kids at number 2. It kind of spreads them out evenly. So I print this slide and the next 2, post them around the room. When they're finished, they go back to their seat and we go over these 3 questions. And you can also write here and solve them. But like I said, it's already numbered, ready to go. Number 1, number 2. And if for any chance you would like to change these test questions, all this text is editable. This last one they have to evaluate and then compare, because on their independent practice it looks similar to this. And we also talk about how the parentheses change the order of operations. So for the 3rd time, before we start our independent practice, what is our purpose for today? Evaluating an expression using the order of operations. Again, if you'd like to change your I can statement, all text is editable. Now, here's my independent practice. I have 2 classes, so my first class and my second class. My pink is my above level, my purple is on level, and my blue is below level. If you'd like to change these colors, these boxes are editable. If you'd like to change these tasks, it's all editable. Step 1 on all 3 groups, the worksheet is the one that is in the printables. They have a worksheet in the printables, and then it goes on into differentiated independent practices. They have level 3, level 2, and level 1. So step 1 and step 2 for all 3 groups is included in the printable pack. Step 3 you can choose to take out depending on how much time you have, or leave it there. And you can type whichever student's names you would like here, or take it out and just assign that day. My early finisher is a program we use called Accelerated Math, but if that's not yours, then you can absolutely edit it. Again, this is for my first class, and I also have 2 classes. If you have 3, just copy this slide and make another one. And when all that's done, all my independent practice time is up, we ask before we do our exit slip, what is our purpose for today? And they state to evaluate an expression using order of operations. Now my exit slip looks the same every day. I give them all an index card, they write their name on it, and then they rate themselves as a 1, 2, 3, or 4. I have the Miss Fifth's Evaluate Level of Understanding pack, and it's printed on my wall, but I teach them 4 is when you can teach someone else, and 1 is when you need a lot of help. So they're pretty good at kind of gauging themselves, and then they solve this, and I pick it up. So that's what you get with every single PowerPoint. It looks very much the same. Now the printables pack you will get, it starts like this, and this is day 1. So these are all of the worksheets you need for day 1. These are 2 to a page. And this is the big anchor chart. If you need to print the anchor chart, all I did was look up on YouTube, print PDF as poster. It tells you exactly how to do it to make this big if you don't have a poster maker at your school. And then this would be the one you would print out for them to have in their notebooks. It's 4 to a page. It fits perfectly inside their notebook. This was just an optional thing I made. I laminated and put it at each seat, and as they solved problems, they checked it off as they did each step with an expo marker, and it worked really well. This is the step 1 of their independent practice. And when I taught this a few days ago, I found that it was very laborious for them and took a long time. So what I did was I numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2 was now work, 3 and 4 was homework. And it worked well because I wanted them to be able to come and start their independent differentiated practice. So this is level 1. Notice it states level 1 right here with the I can statements. And then it also has level 2 and level 3. So that's everything you need for day 1. So you would come down, and here is day 2. On this is a constructed response. I print these out, and this is also in the PowerPoint, so I will model it I model it straight off of the PowerPoint and they copy it down. It's just like the ones that are on the test if you decide to use my test. Independent practice day 2, and this is the stuff that goes with it, and then it goes into differentiated day 1, day 2, and so on. So all of the printables you need are inside of this printables pack, all the way down to the last day. There's differentiated independent practice for every single day. So I've included step 1 and 2 of independent practice for every single day, all 7 days. Now, if you use my test, then that's fine, but some people prefer to make their own. I've included my test, and then I've also included an editable file of them, so you're welcome to edit them. I made different test booklets with, different test covers, because my district prefers if you have lots of directions and it's a booklet, but some just are not as, strict on it, and they can have just a plain answer document. And here are the tests. My test may not be the correct format that you like, but I have a test on 50A1, and then there's also a test on 50A2, and both are editable. So again, it has different options for your cover page, and then very similar with the multiple choice and the problems, just a little bit differentiated. The second test is on 50A1 and 50A2. I kind of like to review and wrap up at the end. Also, the I can statements are ready to go. All you have to do is just print. Here's your Common Core standard that goes 50A1, which is days 1, 2, and 3. And then I also have the I can statements for day 1, 2, and 3. So it's just ready to go. All you have to do is click day 5 and print. So the last thing I want to show you is lesson plans, which of course this is my school's lesson plan format. I've been told it's like a novel compared to some other ones, which is fine, but I didn't really want to edit it or make it more user-friendly, because some people actually need to write all of this, and some people don't know, exactly what it would look like. So this is just what I use. I didn't edit this for TPT. This is just what I use. Take what you want, don't take what you want. I have the editable format of it, just in case you like the format. It's absolutely up to you. So, like a cafeteria, pick and choose what you want. I think I've gone through everything. If you have any questions about how I implement these lessons, and I can tell you I truly, truly implement this exact presentation PowerPoint format every day for the past 3 years, and it has helped me become better organized, and my kids know the routine. We do the same thing every day, and I really think it helps. If you have any questions, please contact me. Thank you so much.